Hey everyone, so today I'll be going through a brief tutorial on how to create graphs for your posters. In this lab, we typically create our posters in Google, and sometimes what ends up happening is students will create the posters in Google, but then they'll create the graphs in Excel and copy paste those graphs from Excel into Google. And what ends up happening with that is when you print the poster, the graphs turn out blurry and just not visually ideal. And so this is just to show you how to create the graphs in Google so that when we print, our graphs turn out pretty. So we'll get started. And I'm in the DICE drive right now. And I created a separate folder called To Projects. And what you'll want to do is open this up, and you'll notice here our 4 projects that we submitted to the Undergrad Research Expo. And over here, you'll see poster template for conferences and poster template for Expo. The poster template for conferences has the template for the general layout that we're used to, because all the posters we've submitted in this lab have gone to external conferences. And so I'll close this up and open up the poster template for the Expo. And you'll notice that this one is significantly different, specifically the width and the length. And these are based on the width and the length for the Undergraduate Research Expo requirements. And so just to double check, you'll go into File, Page Setup, and you'll notice that it's 4 inches by 6.5. You want to make sure that your poster is no wider than 4 inches. If it is, the poster will hang off of the board. So you want to make sure that you're sitting at this 4 inches here, and 6.5 is the maximum in length. So when you apply, this is what you get. So we'll go ahead and exit out of this, and let's just say, for the sake of this video, we'll play around in colorism. So I've inserted a poster template for each of your folders, and so you'll see one for Counter Kids and one for Mental Health, so they're all there for you. And let's open this guy up. And right away you'll see that's the same template that I showed previously. But another thing that I want to show you is you are not by any means married to this internal layout by any means. So depending on your research, these boxes might switch around, some might be bigger, some might be smaller. You may not have this many results to present. So just to show you a quick example, if we go back and let's see, Counter Kids, and we'll open this one up, the layout is a little bit different. And so I invite you guys to play around with where and how big your information or how big your boxes are going to be based on your data and your research. And so close out of this, and now we're back to, well, let's just stick in colorism for now. Great. So if you want to insert graphs, what you'll want to do is go back over here, and you will create a Google Sheet, much like how you would do in Excel, but the idea here is to keep it all internal. So your A column will be your x-axis, and your B column will be your y-axis. And so let's say, again, for the sake of this video, let's just say that we want to investigate time with speed. And you'll insert your data of time right here and your data for speed right here. So let's just say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we can just say that this is the data that we collected for this project. And so what you'll want to do next is highlight everything, go into Insert, Chart. And voila! So as time goes by, speed goes up as well. And over here, I won't go into detail, but these are just ways that you can customize and edit the way that your graph looks. But for the sake of this video, we won't get into the details about that. But what I want to show you guys is how you place this graph into your poster. So the next step would be to go back right here, and you'll click Insert, Chart from Sheet. But before I do this, I want to go back to this folder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit refresh, and boom, you'll see that our spreadsheet came up over here. And I'm going to rename this to Time versus Speed Graph 1. Okay. And go back into our poster, and we'll hit Insert, Chart from Sheets, and you will see our time versus speed graph 1 right here. And so I'll click it, select it, and then click Select. And you'll want to click it again. And make sure this link to spreadsheet is checked. And I'll show you guys in just a second what that means. But make sure that this box is checked and you're good to import. And there we go. And so what I'll want to do is just bring this here, make it smaller. And those are one of our results. Now let's say, cool thing about this is, let's say one of the numbers I entered here was incorrect and I want to change it. What I'll want to do is go back to my sheet, and let's say this 5 was misentered, and let's just say it was supposed to be an 8. And I'll just do this like this, and this number right here switched from 5 to 8. And when I click here, you'll notice back into the poster that it recognized that an update was made. And I will click Update, and that's what that check that you made linked to spreadsheet. Any changes that you make here or here in terms of customizing, if let's say you want to change the color of your bars, if you were to do that and you would click Update in your poster, it would automatically update once you click. And so just to check, we see here that we now have the number 8. The same process is going to happen if you want to insert another graph. And what we'll do now is go back to our drive, and we'll say another Google Sheet for our second graph. You will go through the same process, so A being your x-axis, we could say time versus speed, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will select, insert, chart, and here is our second graph of speed versus time. And I will go back into the drive, I'll click refresh. It's kind of annoying because Google doesn't recognize it immediately unless you refresh it. So I like to do that. And rename, and we'll say time versus speed graph 2. Okay. We'll go back into our poster, hit insert, chart from sheet, and we see here time versus speed graph 2. I'll want to select that one. Make sure it's linked to spreadsheet so that it can update anytime I make changes to the original. Click import, and there's our second graph. Whoa. And here's our second one. And so any changes I make to graph 2 in terms of data, let's just do it for the sake of the video, but if I want to change this 5 to a 10, I I can. Back to the poster, it automatically senses that you changed the data. And so I will click on update, and our number changed to a 10. And there you go. That's how you insert graphs into a poster. Thanks, everyone.